Good morning, everyone. We are going to be doing a long walk today. We're going to be walking along Fort Hamilton Parkway, and we're going to walk the complete distance, 4.5 miles. So this is going to be one of those longer walks. Definitely be over an hour. And we are just starting right outside of Fort Hamilton Army Base. This is where it ends. We're just underneath the entrance ramps of the Verrazano Bridge. That's why you hear all that traffic noise above me. Hope everyone's doing well today. It is a cold day today. It is right now only 32 degrees. Now we're gonna have commentary on the walk, but this is gonna be a long walk, so I'm not gonna be speaking for the whole 4.5 miles. But when there comes a point where I'm gonna talk about something, I'll jump in. I'll give you guys some particulars. We're going to be walking all the way down. We're in Bay Ridge right now, Fort Hamilton area. We're going to be walking all the way down to Prospect Park. It's a 4.5 mile stretch. When we get down there, you will see pretty much these are where the major roadways of like Fort Hamilton Parkway, Ocean Parkway, Coney Island Avenue, they all terminate at this circle drive kind of road. Right on the outside of Prospect Park. The neighborhoods we're going to be going into, we're starting here in Bay Ridge. We'll be on the border of Bay Ridge and Ziker Heights. We'll be in Borough Park. When we get over to Greenwood Cemetery, we'll be cutting through Windsor Terrace. And that's where we'll end it. We'll end it in Windsor Terrace. So we have brought the battery pack, so because we're going to need a battery at a certain point. We're going to need to charge this thing up, so I will connect the battery when that moment comes. And we started at John Paul Jones Park, which is around 101st Street. So we're going to be walking all the way down. Now, before we get into the walk, I want to show you this church. This is a very old church. It was built in the early 1800s. It's known in this area as the General's Church. It's not a church anymore, I don't think. I'm not sure. I don't think it's an open church anymore, but this church is where all the military people came back in the day to pray. And what's very significant about this church is two very famous people in American history came to this church. One of them was baptized here, Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. Stonewall Jackson was baptized in this church. And as you all know, they went on to fight in the Civil War. They were on the Confederate side. The church had nothing, a lot of people think that the church was tied to that. The church had nothing to do with that. But yeah, Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. So there we go. We start off the walk with some history. Across the street over here is still underneath the ramps going onto the Verrazano Bridge. You have some basketball courts. They just renovated a park here. As a matter of fact, they are literally taking away all of the fencing today. I guess the park will be open. I guess if, you know, they finish by the end of the day, the park will be officially open. They've been renovating the park over here for the last year. I remember when I was a kid, you see this corner spot over here, long time ago. We're going back, I was a kid. There used to be a gun shop there. That used to be a corner shop that sold firearms. It was a gun shop. There are actually a couple of gun shops along this avenue. You can see across the street they are getting all of the fencing down. So I would imagine the park will be open at some point today. At Fort Hamilton Parkway, it's, you know, you can see a lot of housing down here on this part. And then as we get down, further down, it'll open up a bit to a lot of commercial zones. You see some of the apartment housing over here. On the other side, I'm about to pass some military housing. You can see the military housing on that side. Some big dogs. I would hate to know how much it costs to feed them. That's like feeding one of those dogs is like feeding two kids. Now we've done a Fort Hamilton Parkway walk. We did one last year, but we started that walk right over at McKinley Park, which is, we've got a ways to go before we get to McKinley Park. And we had ended it on 39th Street. This walk is going to be complete. 4.5 miles. You get to see pretty much everything along this route. For those of you who like long walks, this is going to be a long one. For me, it's 4.5 miles. Is still under my normal daily walk. I usually do a daily walk of about 6 miles. Dennis's Barbershop. You got a pizza place over here. I don't think I've ever had pizza here. I'm actually walking uphill right now a little bit. So I was saying earlier, it is cold today. So we had, yesterday it was 60 degrees. Today it was started out in the high 20s. It's temperature's supposed to go up today to about 35. So what it feels like right now is what it's going to feel like all day, and it is. It's a pretty windy day. It doesn't look windy, but it is. That's because we're on a strip of road where is a lot of buildings cutting the wind down. But I can tell you it is windy out. If you get out to these open streets. So the wind chill is in the 20s. If you remember what I said the other day when we were walking to Coney Island over Ocean Parkway, I said, if you see people walking around with heavy jackets and hats, it doesn't mean it's cold out, but today, yes, you need a heavy jacket and a cap. Luckily for me, this walk, I will have the winds on my back for the entire duration, so it shouldn't be that bad. You can see a lot of these branches on the floor. We had, it was extremely windy last night. We had a storm come through here. I posted a short video of a light pole that got pushed over on 18th Avenue. But there was a lot of wind damage around here this morning. When I woke up and was walking around, I noticed there's a lot of tree limbs on the floor, garbage pails blown all over the place. This 88th Street. We're coming up to 86th Street. There is no 87th Street. So it goes from 86 to 88. 86th Street. I'm walking a little faster right now because I know that light is going to change and I want to get across. Should change right now. There you go. Let me turn my wireless mic on. There you go. I just realized my wireless mic was not on. It actually was on. Sometimes what happens, I'll tell you what happens, but now hopefully you can hear me better, but sometimes you turn it on and it doesn't connect. So you have to turn it off and turn it on. So that's actually what happened. It was on, but the Bluetooth didn't connect. I have to cross because it gets kind of crazy over here. So this is where 6th Avenue ends. You see where that car just pulled up to that crosswalk? That's 6th Avenue. And these cars right now are coming off of 7th Avenue. It gets confusing down here. So that's 6th Avenue right there. We have I-278 right next to us. That's what we call 7th Avenue South. So it gets confusing over here. So right now, officially, we are on, we're still on Fort Hamilton Parkway. But we're going to be crossing into 7th Avenue North. So now we are on 7th Avenue, right? But the road doesn't change. So I'll show you how it gets confusing now down here. So now, if you're walking along Fort Hamilton Parkway and you come down here and you're going to look at the signs and you're going to be like, well, what happened to Fort Hamilton Parkway? That's just the way they decided. They felt 7th Avenue was more important. But we are definitely on the right road. But what's going to happen is, when we get down there, where those cars are coming off the highway and turning, we will then make like a small little right and we'll be back on Fort Hamilton Parkway. You could definitely feel the wind over here, man. You could see it up on the drapery construction coverage blowing around. So this is an area where you can really feel the wind. Here's another, here's where it gets confused. I'm going to show you guys, watch. And look at these signs. So that's 7th Avenue going that way, right? But they have the 7th Avenue sign here. You look right here, 7th Avenue, right? But when I cross the street, it's going to say Fort Hamilton Parkway on this side. So, see that? We'll be passing a couple more churches, at least 2 or 3. We got one coming up here. One of them I actually had my communion in. And that's all the way down. We'll get to that church. That's St. Catherine's on 41st and Fort Hamilton. That's a church I had my communion there. See, some of these homes have that angle, you know, they're all angled. They're not parallel to the sidewalk curb. On the other side, you have McKinley Park, tennis courts. And then here on this block from here to 75th Street, Bay Ridge Parkway, this is known as, they used to call this Dentist Row. Because a lot of these places, a lot of these two-story townhouse styles, they have doctors and dentists. You can see all the signs. This looks like a doctor's office. We passed the dental office. I think this over here. Let's see what this is. Yeah, this is another dentist office. And then over here, I think this is also a dentist office. So that's why we used to call it Dentist Row. This is St. Ephrem. We used to hang out here when I was a teenager. We used to skateboard a lot down here. We used to get yelled at all the time. We are now on 74th Street, if anyone is keeping track. Got McKinley High School, Junior High School, excuse me. I misspoke. It's a school, that's all you need to know. We're right across the street from the park. We just did a walk over here in the snow a couple of weeks ago. And now we hit the busy part of Fort Hamilton. So this is the area we're going to walk through now. It's going to have a lot of commercial businesses. Now what we're going to do is we're going to walk on that side. So a little WD-40 will fix those wheels. Just a little WD-40. You can see why I picked this side. I want to be on the side where there's sun, because on the other side sometimes it gets dark for the camera, but we'll stay on this side for a little while and then we'll go back onto the other side later. Looks like we've been walking for about 20 minutes. So we're making good time. I am walking I don't want to say I'm walking my fastest, but I am definitely walking my normal hiking speed. Since this is going to be a long walk anyway, I don't want to make it any longer by walking slow. So I guess by the time we get to the end of this walk, it'll be a good gauge to see how long it takes me to walk 4.5 miles. Which is something I do a lot down on the bike path. So that bike path, that's how long the bike path is. If anybody's ever wondered, if you walk from Caesars Bay all the way down to the 69th Street Pier, that is the same distance we're doing today, 4.5 miles. This is a little bit more involved because we have to cross streets, we got foot traffic. Now this used to be the old Fortway movie theater. I can tell you the last movie I went here to see, the last movie I saw here was the Michael Keaton Batman. And the line was all the way down to 67th Street to get into the theater. It was a big opening, and it was hot. I remember it was a hot day. So we were standing outside in like the summer heat. And you had a line of people all the way down here to 67th Street to get into the theater to see Batman. So Leif Ericson Park. So in case I didn't bring it up earlier, I know I did, but just to remind everybody, we are going to walk the entire distance of Fort Hamilton Parkway, and we are just hitting 65th Street. So we got a while to go. We still got to get all the way down into Borough Park. I'm not even going to try and speak over that. 3 guys from Brooklyn. Looks like I got a lot of police activity across the street. I don't know what's going on over there. Are they doing random checks? Look at this. They're doing random checks. I don't know what they're checking. Maybe they're checking registration, driver's licenses. I doubt they're checking for drunken driving. They're definitely checking probably registration and driver's licenses. Yeah, that's what they're doing. Yep. Crime is skyrocketing in New York. So we got to make sure that we, I guess, make checks for driver's licenses. Sorry for the sarcasm, but if you live in New York like I do, like many of us do, there's definitely a lot of opinions of how things are being managed these days when it comes to the crime situation going on right now. I'm not going to get into it because it's not a political channel or anything like that, but I'm sure you can tell how I feel. I'm going to get run over by a hand truck. Maybe you should have cops over here checking to see if these guys have driver's licenses for the hand trucks. We'll get back onto this side now. As you can see, it's quite busy in this area. And it'll stay busy pretty much for the duration of the walk. Now the walk will get, I don't want to say it'll get quiet again. Let's just say that there'll be less foot traffic when we get down past 39th Street. We're going to be walking along the south side of, I guess you could say either, I'm trying to think about it now. Let me think about this. I'm looking at the map in my head. I would say it would be like the east side of Gravesend, not Gravesend, Greenwood Cemetery. We're going to be walking along Greenwood Cemetery for the last part of the walk, leading into Windsor Terrace. And down there's a lot of traffic, but there's not a lot of foot traffic, not a lot of people walking down there. Except for us, we're walking down there. I guess he ran out of power. If you are a fruit and vegetable person, they got it all here. Alright, we've been walking 40 minutes approximately, and we are down to 58th Street.
Thì nhà cứu thì mắng à.
Now I am guessing that it's going to probably take an hour and a half to do this walk. We'll see. Or a little bit under an hour and a half. So I would say at this point we're pretty much halfway or almost halfway done with this walk. We're walking for about 46 minutes. If anybody's wondering how my legs feel, I haven't hit second gear yet. I'm doing good. I can walk forever. For me, walking's like breathing, you know, it just comes naturally. We got another church. I want to get across Fort Hamilton so you take a look at it. And I believe this is called Precious Blood, or Monastery of the Precious Blood. Yes, the sign is right there. Monastery of the Precious Blood. It's a big church. by the way, I haven't mentioned it. We are now in the Borough Park section. So far we've been walking through the Fort Hamilton Bay Ridge area, the Bay Ridge / Dyker Heights area, right on the border of both of those neighborhoods. We're now in Borough Park. I am checking my battery. Battery still looks good, but it's not an issue because we have the battery pack. I'm just checking to see when I have to connect it up. Now we're about to hit Maimonides Hospital Center. As a matter of fact, all these blocks that I'm walking by right now have a hospital building on them. Jimmy's Deli. Now that sounds like a good place to get a sandwich. Three-in-one kitchen. I don't know what that means. What's the three? I guess, I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to guess. So we're gonna get on the other side to look at some of these two-story townhouse style buildings, which now pretty much are going to dot the road for the next couple of blocks. And by the way, we have the hospital to my left. Now this area right here we're walking into, this is where the traffic gets really bad. So I'm sure we'll all be treated to some car horns going off for the next few blocks. You can see, look at the traffic. It's just backed up on both sides. There you go. Get used to it. There's going to be more. This is an area, as you can see, this is an area where people are not patient. Get a little pup. Hey, pup. Yeah, this place looks sketchy. This looks like a sketchy place to hang out. But don't worry, you don't have to walk through this area. Only I have to walk through this area for purposes of this recording. There's a lot of bread bakeries down here, and all it smells like is bread bacon. It smells amazing. So, although it may look like crap, it smells really great down here. We are at Utrecht Avenue. This is where you get on the train at Fort Hamilton Parkway for the D line. So you see the station's right there. You can see the stairs going up. PS 131. I actually went to this school. I went to this school for 2 years, for 5th and 6th grade. I was in PS 169 from grades 1 through 4, and then I came here for grades 5 and 6. A little bit of history here I'll tell you about, since I lived in this neighborhood at one time. That's the old funeral home, which is now abandoned. Now, that wasn't always a Jewish funeral home. It was a normal funeral home for all denominations. And then I guess at one point it became an Orthodox funeral home, but it is closed down since. Long time it's been closed down. All right, and then next to the funeral home, that parking lot used to be the White Castle. We used to have a White Castle over here. That's where the White Castle used to be. A lot of these stores used to be like little deli grocery stores, We used to come here in the morning and play arcade games before we went into PS 131. The big video game back then was Spy Hunter and Bomb Jack. Those were the two popular games back in that time period. Space Invaders had kind of taken a back seat by that time. Space Invaders, we used to play Space Invaders in the car service on 8th Avenue and 42nd Street when I was really young. Crystal Castle was another arcade game we used to play. It was big, very popular game. On this side here, on my left side, this is a senior housing. That is the old schoolyard for St. Catherine's Catholic School, which is gone. You're going to see in a second, which is kind of crazy that they tore. Well, the school is still there, but they tore down a big part of it. But this used to be a schoolyard, and they used to have bazaars and carnivals in here when I was a kid. And then I was talking about this earlier. This is St. Catherine. This is a church I had my communion here. This is a beautiful church. A very old church. I mean, this church, when you look at this church, this is definitely an old church when you look at it. Just the way it's constructed. The old cobblestone style facing. Well, the whole building is just like cobblestones. I'm going to get out of the sun in a second to show you. There you go. And I'm going to show you the inside. I'm going to show you something else in a second, so stay tuned. I want to just show you what it looks like in here. It's a beautiful church. There was people in the church. I don't like to talk even low. So you respect the people that are in there praying. And I'll show you this area right here. It's a very nice area. I know we're taking a little bit of a detour here, but we got plenty more walking to do anyway. So I'll take you in here. Kind of show you this, and then we'll be on our way for the last part of the walk. And this is amazing. It's still in the same condition since I was a kid, and probably long before I was a kid, long before I was born. And look at this. Look at the architecture, the way the stones. Look at the way the stones are just placed up there. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So here we go. We got a little sightseeing here. Personally, I think this is the nicest church on Fort Hamilton Parkway. By a lot, by a long stretch. Not to dig at the other churches. It's just, this is a beautiful church. All right, so it is time almost to get the battery hooked up to the camera. As I'm watching the battery levels, we've hit over 60 minutes. We've got about 10% left on the battery. And we are about to leave Borough Park and head into a section of Brooklyn called Kensington, like that car just said, in car language with a beep. So this is a neighborhood that's in between Borough Park and Windsor Terrace. Alright, I just connected the battery. You might have noticed a little flicker. And that was the battery power coming in. Alright, so we're about to hit what I call this is like no man's land down here. So we're on 37th Street. And right across from us is Greenwood Cemetery. I would call that the southeast corner of Greenwood Cemetery. That guy. I don't want to try, I want it done. So we are now in the final leg of this walk. This is it here. So we're going to be walking along this southeast border of Greenwood Cemetery. On the other side, and on this side you got some businesses. You got the McDonald's here. It's been here for a long time. And we'll be also passing a Burger King. And some of these fast food establishments have been here for many years. If you remember what I said earlier, there's going to be a lot less foot traffic down here, but a lot of car traffic. As a lot of these cars will be making their way to numerous directions. So this will lead you, this is going to lead us to the end. You know, we're going to get to the end of Fort Hamilton Parkway, but I like to say it's the beginning of Fort Hamilton Parkway. And there's going to be some major roadways that all originate over there. You have the Prospect Expressway that turns into Ocean Parkway, and that's where Ocean Parkway starts. You have Coney Island Avenue. So a lot of this traffic, can end up going to a lot of different parts of Brooklyn by just taking this route. And we have just hit officially the second longest walk on my channel. 70 minutes. I believe it's the second longest. Well, it doesn't matter, it's going to be. But the longest walk I have on the channel is I did a Coney Island walk a few years back. Actually 5 years ago with the GoPro. That was when I just, would just put the GoPro on and put a video up on my YouTube account every once in a while. But in that walk we did, I remember we walked the whole beach and then we walked on the boardwalk, and that was like a 2-hour walk. Now this walk is not going to take 2 hours, but it's going to be close to it. And if you notice, I have not broken my pace. I'm still walking the same pace. I guess the only break we took is when we went into the church. You got some of these streets here just off of the Parkway. Some of them are like dead-end streets, some of them are like court streets. And this is the heart of Kensington. This is the Kensington area of Brooklyn. We're definitely not in Windsor Terrace yet. We're about to be. Now, Windsor Terrace is easy. On a map, all you have to do is look for Greenwood Cemetery, which is right here on my left, and Prospect Park. And that neighborhood that is dead in between those two landmasses is Windsor Terrace. This is the southeast entrance into the Greenwood Cemetery. Leif, I said earlier, I know I said Gravesend Cemetery. I always, for some reason, I slip. And I kind of, you know, because they start with a G, so I always, you know, mix them up. All right, so we have to cross a certain way over here because it's kind of dangerous. So here's the Burger King I was telling you about. We used to come to this Burger King a lot when I was a kid. This is where we came when we were kids. We used to go to Prospect Park. I got to get over across Caton. And yes, I ran across. I didn't want to wait for that light. All right, we are at the end. We are getting close. This is McDonald Avenue. We will be doing a McDonald Avenue walk at one point. Little factoid about McDonald Avenue. McDonald Avenue was not always called McDonald Avenue. It was a major roadway into Gravesend, and it was called Gravesend Avenue. And at some point in the 1930s, they changed the name. And it angered a lot of people when they did that. We are now in Windsor Terrace. We are coming up to the end of the walk. 2 or 3 or 4 more blocks. I want to thank everybody for coming along this walk. This was a long one. We will be doing some long walks. That's something I used to do back in the day with the GoPro. I want to get back into that. Get some long walks coming in. And I guess I was right. I guess we were going to be finishing around an hour and a half. Now we'll be walking around this neighborhood too. A lot of history here at Windsor Terrace. It's a very nice neighborhood here. Now we gotta cross this you're gonna see in a second. This is where the Prospect Expressway kind of bleeds out. And it gets kind of crazy down here, so. Looks like we got another church. I did not know about this church. Sorry, I'm seeing this for the first time also. Immaculate Heart of Mary Church. I've been down here before, but I don't ever remember seeing this church. Probably because I was walking on the other side. We're going to cross over here. I don't know why he stopped. I wasn't going anywhere. Kind of like slowed down, thought I was going to jump in front of him. There you go. And here we are at the end, guys. So this is, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to walk up here and kind of give you guys an idea. Well, this is where, if you look over there, that roadway over there, that's Ocean Parkway, where it starts. This is pretty much where Ocean Parkway and the Prospect Expressway meet up. Down here, you have the Fort Hamilton Parkway train station for the F and the G line. And the end of the walk is coming up. Now, the way Ocean Parkway is kind of strange. Like right here, you have the, if you notice, you have the Prospect Expressway, which bleeds into Ocean Parkway there. You have these nice apartment buildings. Looks like we are going to finish the walk before an hour and a half. My timer says 82 minutes. And just so you know, we are officially off of Fort Hamilton Parkway, and we are now on Ocean Parkway. And I just want to end the walk and show you guys the circle over there by Prospect Park. So Fort Hamilton Parkway is pretty much ended. And we are on Ocean Parkway. We were on Ocean Parkway in our last walk, but this is where Ocean Parkway starts. Now, Fort Hamilton Parkway just ended. Here, where you're looking at, this road coming towards me and around, that's Ocean Parkway. This is Ocean Parkway. And then over there, you can probably see the sign in the camera view, but it says Coney Island Avenue. It's like a brown sign over there where the horse crossing signs are. It says Coney Island Avenue. So Coney Island Avenue, Fort Hamilton Parkway, and Ocean Parkway all converge here. So we did 4.5 miles of walking. It took me roughly an hour and 23 minutes, 25 minutes. Not bad. here you go. And across from me is Prospect Park. And this is the circle. You could drive around this whole green area. This is a circle over here. And you can take your pick of what direction you want to go into Brooklyn. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming along for the walk. It was a long one. And we will see you all on the next one. Take care and catch everyone on the next one. Bye-bye.